Is the Wellbeing Budget an initiative that you've seen so far from this current government likely to address that? Is it a good initiative?
We think it's a good initiative. We have worked with wellbeing projects in other OECD members, Sweden, Korea, France, to mention a few. But this is perhaps the country so far where we've seen the most in-depth engagement in well-being budgets, and that's interesting for us. We've worked with this at the OECD for 10 years in a so-called Better Life Index. So it's interesting for us to follow.
Is it more than just? So the critics in New Zealand would argue that it's just a public relations exercise, that the focus should be on gross domestic product. What's the OECD's view?
Well, I would say, to be fair, actually, if we had come here from the OECD and if we'd done a completely regular economic survey, it would have been highlighting the solid growth, the high employment, and the low inflation, and that would be it. We would then perhaps have said that looked at measures on how to increase productivity. By including all these well-being measures, actually, you could say that countries embarking on this, including New Zealand, are putting themselves a little bit in the firing line, because now we are talking about inequality, we're talking about affordability of housing, we're talking about mental health, we're talking about water pollution and so on. So I don't think it's actually a fair criticism, because when you look at the report and where we see room for improvement in New Zealand, it's actually on many of the new well-being indicators and not so much on the traditional economic stuff, if you like.
Sure. You do talk about the labour market, though, and in particular the minimum wage, which has been increased significantly in New Zealand and is going to be increased even more. You raise some concerns, though, that this could result could result in what more, I guess, unemployment for those in low-skilled jobs.
Exactly. New Zealand already has a pretty high minimum wage if you compare it to the median wage and other OECD countries, and there are now plans to increase it by a further 20%. This is, in and of itself, obviously a good thing for people on the minimum wage. But the risk is that some people maybe fall out of employment because the minimum wage is too high for certain employers. And the people at risk here will mainly be female workers, youth workers, and low-skilled workers, because they're the ones who will then fall below this new threshold that the minimum wage is
So are you advising New Zealand to not increase that an extra 20%?
No, we're saying that it's certainly a legitimate economic and political target to lift the minimum wage. What we're saying is that the New Zealand government should very closely monitor if these effects actually come to bear in real life, the ones we're talking about now here for youth workers and female workers. And if we see those effects in real life, maybe slow down a little bit the minimum wage hike.